You're sitting at the dinner table. It's quiet, normal, nothing special. You ask, "How was your day?" And to you, that's just a question. But across from you, something shifts. Your child pauses, just for a second. Not long enough for you to notice, but long enough for them to feel it. Because they didn't just hear your words, they heard the way your voice tightened at the end. They noticed your eyes flick away for half a second. They felt something off. And suddenly, the room doesn't feel the same anymore. You keep eating, they stop talking, and neither of you knows why. Most people move through the world with a filter, a quiet system in the brain that decides what matters and what doesn't. It softens the background. It ignores the small changes. It keeps life simple. But some children, they don't have that filter running the same way. They take in more tone, more detail, more of what isn't being said, and they don't know how to turn it off. Imagine this. You're watching a simple video, people passing a ball back and forth. You're focused, counting, staying on task. And right in the middle of it, something strange walks across the screen. Obvious, visible. But half the people watching never see it. Not because they're careless, but because their brain decided it wasn't important. Now imagine your child is watching that same video. They see the passes, they see the people, and they also see the thing no one else reacts to. They notice it, they feel it, and when they look around, no one else says anything. So they hesitate. "Did you see that?" And someone says, "See what?" And just like that, they start questioning themselves. Now bring that back to your home. Your child isn't just reacting to what you say, they're reacting to what you don't say. They notice the pause before you answer. They notice the change in your tone when you say, "I'm fine." They notice when something feels different, even then everything looks the same. And when they point it out, even gently, "Are you okay?" And you respond with, "I'm fine, don't worry about it." Something small but important happens. Stop, right there. This is the moment most parents miss. You think you just reassured them, but what they heard was, what you noticed wasn't real. And the first time, it's confusing. The second time, they hesitate. The third time, they stop asking. Because now they're stuck between two realities, what they feel and what they're told is true. And when those things don't match, they don't trust themselves. They adjust. They quiet down. They start editing what they say before it leaves their mouth. You might notice it slowly. They talk less. They keep things to themselves. They say it's nothing more often. And from the outside, it looks like distance. But inside, it's something else. It's calculation. Because their brain is still doing the same thing. Still noticing. Still picking up the details. Still reading the room. But now there's a second layer. Should I say this or keep it to myself? And most of the time, they choose silence. Not because they don't trust you, but because they don't trust what happens while they speak. There's something else happening too, and it's easy to miss. Children like this don't just notice more, they process more, deeper, longer. While others move on quickly, your child is still thinking about what happened earlier, replaying it, trying to make sense of it. Not in a dramatic way, just quietly. You might see it after something small, a short conversation, a simple moment, and later they seem overwhelmed, tired, withdrawn. And it doesn't make sense to you, because from your perspective, nothing happened. But for them, a lot happened. They tracked the tone, the timing, the shift in energy, the things no one explained, and they held onto it because they didn't know where else to put it. That's why environments that seem normal to you can feel heavy to them. Not because something is wrong, but because they're carrying more information than they know how to organize. And here's where it gets complicated. The world doesn't always respond kindly to that kind of awareness. When a child says something too perceptive, people laugh it off, or brush it aside, or change the subject. Don't overthink. It's not that deep. You're imagining things. Those phrases seem harmless, even helpful, but over time, they send a message. What you notice doesn't matter. What you feel might be too much. What you see might be wrong. And slowly, without anyone meaning to, they start disconnecting from their own signal. Not completely. It's still there, still working, still picking things up. But now it's mixed with doubt. They notice something, then question it, then hold it back, then say nothing. And from the outside, it looks like they're just quiet, or private, or hard to read. But the truth is, they've just learned that sharing doesn't always feel safe. Now here's the part most people don't talk about. This kind of awareness isn't a problem. On its own, it's actually a strength. It's what allows someone to understand others deeply, to sense shifts early, to connect in ways that go beyond surface-level conversation. But only when they trust it. And trust doesn't come from being right. It comes from being understood. So when your child says something that feels unexpected, or too insightful, or slightly out of place, you don't have to correct it. You don't have to explain it away. You can pause and just stay with them for a second. Hey, what made you notice that? Not to test them, not to challenge them, just to understand. Because that moment, that small shift, that's where trust builds. Not in the big talks, not in the perfect advice, but in the space where they feel like what they see has a place to land. And when that happens, something changes. They don't just observe anymore. They share. They don't just think quietly. They include you. And the same awareness that once made them pull away becomes the thing that brings you closer. So next time you're sitting across from them and everything feels normal to you, but they pause just for a second, don't rush past it. Don't fill the silence, because there might be something there, something small, something easy to miss. But to them, it's already loud. The question isn't whether your child notices more than others. They probably do. The real question is, when they do notice something, do they feel safe enough to let you see it too?